some of those events. I love watching Airbaden get over it. I've been calling him all year long, so love watching Joel go at it, but we'll be treated to some great finals later.
That's going to be very, very exciting. So there, the girls out there, they're bang on time. And it's a pretty star-studded first of our heats here. We do have in hit number 7, Abby Caldwell, bronze medalist from the Com Games, and just next to a few lanes inside her, Georgia Griffith will be wearing hit number 5. They're the two standouts in this first. So it is 5 plus the next 2 fastest times. Izzy Thornton-Bott in there as well, who's did some hard yards in New South Wales, but really gone up the levels. You can see her in hit number 2. Now she's over the University of Oregon.
Yeah, certainly is. Stayed with Izzy Thornton-Bott at the World Champs, an absolute class competitor and a consummate professional. So I think she'll do well. She was at the NCAA indoors as well as a part of the mile and the 1500. So it'll be really interesting to see how she goes. But you're right, there's some class competitors. Another one to watch out for is Jayla Hancock-Cameron. Had a really good season in New South Wales. Gets down to Victoria a bit. So we're not going to get it easy in Morty Skyring in those on colours, which we're seeing everywhere now. The on track club, so it'll be a cracking first season. So 13 on the start list here. Once they get underway, we'll run through the entire start list. 13 in the next ones for the men's. 3, it's a bit harder. First 3 plus the next 3 fastest for the men's 1500 metres. It's probably a little bit easier than it has been previously. It's usually pretty cutthroat, you know. They don't tend to have semis in the 15, but they make it hard sometimes. Oh, it certainly is. It's one of the harder events to get out of the heats of, and particularly the 1500 in and of itself. You're getting guys who come down maybe from the 5K, step up from the 800 and give it a whirl, as well as all the class 1500 metre competitors we have. So it'll be really interesting here as we now get underway. And heat number 1 of 2. It's going to be the first 5 automatically that we mentioned, and the next 2 fastest times will join them in the final. It's always interesting. Do you see championship racing in the heat? Do you wait till the final? There's some of these women who don't quite have as fast a time as, say, a Thornton-Bott, Griffith or a Caldwell need to get out there and push the pace, but at the moment it's everybody happy to let Hancock-Cameron do the work and get to the front.
Yeah, they're running 3 across there. Lee Simpson on the outside. She's the local Queenslander out there. So we go through the whole field. It's Tia Brady in 1, Izzy Thornton-Bott in 2, Hannah Cox 3, Jayla Hancock-Cameron in 4, Georgia Griffith 5, Erin Blundell in 6, Abby Caldwell 7, Ruby McPhillips in 8, Eloise Doherty in 9, Lily Mather in 10, Laura McKillop, she's a World Under 20 Champs rep in the steeplechase last year in 11 there, Morty Skyring in 12, and Lee Simpson in 13. But it is Jayla Hancock-Cameron leading this field very, very casual through the first 3.
Just ahead of her is going to be Thornton-Bott. So sort of those class competitors that we mentioned before the race. I'm more than happy to let this one pan.
Very, very casual. And I think that hopefully it's not too messy at the moment. It is just strung out enough, and you know they're only 2 across as they hit their first sort of 500 metres there. But Hancock-Cameron looks comfy out in front. This will be easy running for Izzy after coming from the indoors to the outdoors. A lot more space.
Oh, she'll be laughing. She'll be going, geez, no one's right on my shoulder. No one's falling over me off the bank.
It's a flat track.
Yeah, it's going to be sensational. My feet don't hurt. It's going to be awesome. But I mean, if you're a Queenslander as well, I've only just moved to the Sunshine State myself, but in terms of running, it takes a bit of time to adjust to this level of heat and humidity, and you just sweat buckets on the daily. So anybody from Queensland around that area does have that slight advantage, I feel, in the conditions, but it's going to be Hancock-Cameron. They're more than happy to continue. There's always one rabbit-esque type runner in the first lead. I'm hoping for her sake she can keep on kicking when the kick comes. She's looking pretty comfortable to control it out front.
Yeah, the clock's just ticked over the 2:20, so they're going to go through in just about 2:25, 2:26, 2:27 on the clock, so it is very, very casual. They are stringing out just a touch, but it's Jayla Hancock-Cameron in front, Thornton-Bott, then it's Blundell, Caldwell, Griffith, and then it goes back to Hannah Cox, Simpson, and then Skyring. So it's only 5, and I wouldn't think that as they start to stretch it out, it's going to be 5 from this race. You know, this is the luxury of the second heat. They've seen how slow they've gone through. You're probably not getting the 2 qualifiers out of this time qualifiers.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Not at the 2:27 you mentioned through the first 800. And I often find that if you are somebody who's not right on the verge of being able to lead, why not go out there and shake it up a little bit? I mean, back your kick, I've more respect for that. Like, if you have a look at our athletes who are out in front here, look at this sweeping move here from Skyring, Caldwell, Griffith, Thornton-Bott, Hancock-Cameron, and here it comes. Here's the spacing that we've talked about. It's now been blown wide out, and these ladies are now just going to battle it out over the final 400, almost just for the pride of being the first one through.
Well, if you look at the 5 names you've highlighted on your start list, it's the 5 girls out in front. So it's Skyring, then it's Hancock-Cameron, Caldwell. On the rail there is Thornton-Bott and then Griffith. And they're opening up a good gap back to Leah Simpson. It's probably about 10 metres back to her and then about 25 back to Hannah Cox. So it should be these 5 comfortably. Simpson finds herself just stuck in the
the middle of nowhere there, but she knows she has to grind hard to the finish line with 2:50 to go to try and get one of those time qualifiers. But it is a bit of a battle here, and you see Caldwell, she wants the win in this last race.
Oh, it's a pride thing now. You want to be the first one through the line for sure. You just want them to know, hey, I know we're all feeling good, but guess what? I felt the best because I came through the line first. So Caldwell's going to waste no time. Thornton Bott right on her shoulder there. It's going to be these five who just go through pretty comfortably here, Lynch.
Yeah, Caldwell out in front, then it's Thornton Bott, back to Griffith, then Hancock, Cameron and Skyring. So it's the first five plus the next two fastest times to make their way through to the final. And it is going to be the Com Games medalist easing across the finish line to take line honours there. 4:19.57, the unofficial winning time. Those first five ladies across the line will be the auto qualifiers through to the final.
What's interesting now is we now wait to see what Simpson might run. I mean, she's obviously right on the edge now. It's going to have to wait.